The pandemic put a lot of people in a really bad place. Many people lost their jobs, and most people saw their lives change in very drastic ways. However, there were some winners. I have spoken endlessly on here about large corporations that took wage subsidies while still paying their shareholders, laying people off. So I wanted to actually do something, so I did create a petition. It was authorized by Matthew Green, and then it was open for signature for 120 days, and it did receive the required 500 signatures. So now we're at this point, the presentation to the House of Commons. If you need a refresher, this is the petition. And I gave a bunch of stats about how the government funding was used, how $100 billion went to businesses, whereas only $80 billion went to citizens. I referenced the Auditor General reports that estimates that $15.5 billion in funds could be recovered by ineligible companies who took this. We talk about the corporate profiteering and apparent price fixing and monopolistic behavior exhibited by corporations, and of course those good old corporate tax loopholes. The petition called on the Government of Canada to update disclosures of the corporations that received SUS so we can know who took our tax dollars, and to shift the CERB recovery to SUS recovery. Leave the citizens alone and let's go after these big corporations that took money instead. Even though corporations took $100 billion and citizens took $80 billion, we don't hear any politicians talking about this, besides, of course, the NDP. But why is that, right? Why is that? Why are we villainizing citizens instead of these corporations? Everyone should be asking themselves that. I said that they need to claw this SUS funding back from corporations who took the benefit while also paying their shareholders, buying back stock, acquiring other businesses, and changing compensation structures for their executives, or laying off employees. We need to increase corporate tax rates, implement a windfall profits tax, close corporate tax loopholes such as capital gains exemptions and tax havens, introduce a cap on executive salary deductions for corporations, and increase the disclosure requirements for multinational corporations. So Matthew Green sponsored this petition, and because it received the required 500 signatures, he will receive 45 seconds in the House of Commons to present it. After that, the government gets 45 days to formulate a response. So here's where I need your help. What should he say in this 45 seconds? Obviously, there's a lot that needs to be said here. Now, before you comment, I want to bring your attention to another petition that went through the House of Commons quite recently. This petition specifically was talking about investigating Loblaws, and you can pause to read all of the details here. This petition received over 17,000 signatures. And here's the government's response. I will let you pause to read it yourself. That response was a lot of words, and in my opinion, looks like it could have been written by Loblaws' PR team. The petition specifically asks for an investigation into Loblaws. The response does not mention any sort of investigation whatsoever, or any actions taken against Loblaws. The petition also asks for an investigation into the monopolization of Canada's grocery industry. The government's response does not mention anything about addressing the monopolization problem or any future plans to fix it. The government's response focuses on efforts to improve the Competition Act, but does not speak of anything to help bring grocery prices down. The response cites global inflationary pressures, but does not mention anything about how to fix this in Canada. So overall, I was very underwhelmed by the response. So how can we let the government know that we want a real response and we want them to actually address these issues? Once Matthew has had a chance to speak for the 45 seconds, you can rest assured that I will let you know who you need to contact so that you can send them your personalized, respectful comments on this issue. And until then, eat the rich.